Shabbat Shalom. Kol Halal Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakach Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the World War III update. All right, it's the daily update. All right, so we're going to start with Revelation. Revelation 11 and 13. Now, this scripture is describing the culmination of World War III. How is World War III going to come to an end? With the nuclear missiles. All right, there's an acronym, which is the first letter of each word used to form a word. And the acronym is MAD, M-A-D, which stands for Mutually Assured Destruction. Okay? And what does that mean? That means when America and its allies, Great Britain, Israel, Canada, Australia, who all have their own nuclear missiles, they're going to fire their missiles at their enemies, their adversaries, and their adversaries, who are China, Iran, Russia, North Korea, are going to fire their nuclear missiles at the same time. And here's what's going to happen, all right? Revelation 11 and 13. And the same hour was there a great earthquake. Okay? All of those nukes going off at the same time is going to cause the earth to shake on its axis. All right? And the 10th part of the city fell. What city? Babylon the Great City. Okay? This city right here, 11 and 8. And their dead bodies, talk about the real Israelites, shall lie in the street of the great city. What great city is that? It's called America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. What happened in ancient Egypt? The Egyptians had the Israelites in slavery. Just like here in America, who were the slaves? The Israelites. Okay, get the connection? Not no Africans, the Israelites. All right? Where also our Lord was crucified, crossed out, and turned into Caesar Borgia, which he's not. The one that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, whose name is Yahweh Shai, is a so-called black man. All right? He had dark brown skin and white woolly hair, just like all the rest of the true Israelites at one point in time before the mixing started and all of that. But we're still today, we are those people. Yeah, we look like the Egyptians, who are Africans, but we're Israelites. Moses looked like the Africans, the Egyptians, but he was an Israelite. Okay? Plain and simple. So anyway, here's what's going to happen. And the same hour as what? As that rescue plan, all right? There was a extraction. The POWs of this war were extracted, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. That cloud is what they call a UFO. We proved it yesterday. Go back and watch yesterday's daily World War III daily report update, and you'll see what the clouds are. They ascended up to heaven in a cloud, up into the sky in a UFO, and their enemies. Whose enemies? You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have enemies right here that hate you. Why do they hate us? Because we can break down these scriptures and tell you what is actually going on. And their enemies beheld them. They are going to be in complete astonishment when they see the POWs, right? The people that are in captivity right now, getting shot in the back, can't get a job, redlining, can't buy a house, can't get a loan, okay? Hung to trees, those are the Israelites, plain and simple. And their enemies beheld them. I can go further into this. Let's do it. This is Second Ezra. No, it's Salakia. It's Wisdom of Solomon 5. All right. Start at 1. Then shall the righteous man, the Israelite, stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. You didn't get paid for that slavery, did you? Okay. We're going to stand in your face, tell you this truth, and you're mad about it. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. When we stand on our feet, understand that we are the people of the book. We're the ones that can break these scriptures down to what they actually mean, not the lies that we're told. God loves everybody, for God so loved the world. No. Okay? The world of Israel is the world that he loved. There are 3 different worlds in the Bible. The one in John 3:16 is the word cosmos. Look it up. And that's talking about a certain group of people. And it'll tell you what group of people, what world, if you go to Isaiah 45:17. We did it yesterday. All right? When they see it, when who sees it? Our enemies. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they look for. What are they talking about? They're talking about us getting beamed up. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Well, here's the enemies. Here's what they're going to say. All right? All right? When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, at the way we're being saved. We're getting beamed up into the chariots of Israel. So far beyond all that they look. They are not expecting that. Why are these niggers and spicks getting saved from these missiles that are dropping on us right now? Why them? So far all beyond that they look for. Now here's what they're going to say as it's going down. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of, we had these niggas on their knees. They were starving. We wouldn't give them jobs. We called them all sorts of names, and a proverb. These niggers, we had them. These spicks, these porch monkeys. All right. Then they're going to say to themselves, we fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God? And his lot among the saints. They're going to be astonished, amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. Okay? Therefore we have erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined upon it. It goes on and on and on. If you read all the way down in 2nd Ezra, Salakia, of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, all right? Our enemies are going to be perplexed at this, all right? At the POW extraction by the chariots of Israel. And while that's going on, all right, while we're being what they call saved by God, all right, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies were completely perplexed, right? And that same hour, there was a great earthquake. That's the missiles falling in mutually assured destruction. Why am I talking about this? Because this is how World War III is going to end. All right? And the 10th part of the city fell. What's the 10th part of the city? FEMA Zone 1, FEMA Zone 2, FEMA Zone 3, all the way up to 10. North America is going to fall in a nuclear holocaust. Going to get completely burned up. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. 7 means completion. 7,000 is a number that means everybody that wasn't beamed up into the chariots. Okay? 7,000. And the remnant, who's the remnant? The ones that got beamed up into the cloud. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. All right. So this is the culmination of these nukes. All right. And we could go into it further. All right. We could go into what the chariots of Israel are going to do and what their weapon systems consist of. All right. We could go into it. We could pull the truth out of the scriptures. That's what the men of the Lord do. All right. She'll be coming around the mountain. What is she'll be coming around the mountain? And it came to pass, this is 2 Ezra 13:1. It came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man, what man? The one you call Jesus, whose name is Yahushua. Lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, with the angels. And they're in the chariots of Israel, what you call a UFO. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. They were flying, okay? And it says when he turned his countenance, that's the chariot turning, right? And if I keep reading down, it's going to tell you what the weapon systems of the chariots do. They got laser beams. They burn shit up. Go look at War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. Why are people disappearing in a puff of smoke? Because they know what these scriptures are saying too. And when so the voice went out of his mouth, the voice that they're talking about is a laser, concentrated fire. All they burned that heard his voice. How did when you speak, somebody's burning up? Like in the Tom Cruise movie. They were shooting them with laser beams. Like he that faileth when it feeleth what? The fire, the concentrated fire. All right? And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. Well, guess what? Okay? Guess what? All right, all the armies, this is World War III right here. There were gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. They're going to try to fight against Jesus Christ and the angels when they come back to tear shit up. All right? Now, she'll be coming around the mountain. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain. And flew up upon it. What's this talking about? She'll be coming around the mountain. Why does it say this? Let's go to Wikipedia. Where's it at? She'll be coming around the mountain. Wikipedia. Got to do this over and over so that you idiots understand that we know what we're talking about. She'll be coming around the what? The mountain. He had graved himself a great mountain. Who had graved himself a great mountain? The original song was published in Old Plantation Hymns in 1899. It ostensibly refers to the second coming of Christ and subsequent rapture, which I just called an extraction of the POWs, with the she referring to the chariot that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. Hello? I didn't write this. This is in Wikipedia. How does this come together? Well, somebody knows what we're talking about. And we're putting it together for you. So anyway, you could either hear or forbear. But lo, I beheld, and he had graved himself a great, she'll be coming around the mountain, a chariot, and flew up upon it. Okay? And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together, this is World War III going on, then suddenly here come the chariots of Israel, the angels, and the one you call Jesus, to subdue him. They were sore afraid, and yet they were like this, oh shit. All right? Let's watch that. Let's watch this. Okay? Let's watch this in real time right now. Jet fighter tracks UFO. Let's watch the fight. See, the fight is going on right now. You just don't understand it. What the hell is this?
We've got you taken care of, Sergeant Houston.
Slovakia. These are the jet fighters tracking the UFOs. All right? Now, they haven't started shooting at each other yet, but the war is already going on. It's a Cold War right now. But in a minute, what's going on here?
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My God.
That is Satan and his angels, okay, fighting against God and his angels. All right? This is what we're watching here. Now, they're not firing on each other. That part comes later.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. Oh, they did.
I'm going to show you the scripture right here. The footage shows unidentified objects flying at high speeds through the Earth's atmosphere. Okay? What is that? Let's keep reading. And lo, this is 9. This is 2 Ezra 13 and 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. Now it's going to explain what are on those chariots and how they're going to wax those F-18s and whatever man on earth has can't hang with the chariots of Israel. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, that's lasers, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. This is how they're going to get their ass kicked. And burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterward, I saw the same man come down from the mountain out of his chariot and call unto him another peaceable multitude. Who's that? The children of Israel that were saved. All right. What's this? Revelation 12. Now I'm going to show you what they were doing in real time. And there was a war in heaven. Okay. In the sky. There was a war in the sky. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his blue angels and prevailed not. Okay, we went over this yesterday. Go watch yesterday's video. All right? Let's show you that this war is in the sky. War broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his blue angels fought back. What does this say right here? Heaven, heaven, heaven. World English Bible. There was a war in the sky. There was a war in the sky. Michael and his angels made war on the serpent. The serpent and his angels made war. Let's go back to it. Here it is. Here it is. There you have it. All right, enough on that. So let's get to World War III. That's why you're here. But this is the culmination of it. All right? That's the last part of it. All right? What we do is we filter what's going on in real time in the news through the scriptures, and we bring out the truth. That's what we do. What am I doing? Okay, we're going to go down here. Slovakia. Let's go to Secret Files. There's not too much going on today. Let's see Deep Journalist. Go to Deep Journalist. We'll look at this. Breaking news. Putin launched a scathing attack on NATO. Who is the beast? Who's the great red dragon? NATO, the EU, right? And then all of them put together. But this is World War III, all right? Putin launched a scathing attack on NATO. Let's watch this.
This 15-year-old genius.
That means excuse me. Bear with me.
300 miles, satellite journal. By subscribing to our channel, you can follow our independent comments on the latest news. Although Putin, who sent the largest fleet since the Cold War to Hawaii, officially announced 300 miles, satellite images shook the world. In addition, Vladimir Putin launched a scathing attack on NATO in an article, saying the body has caused division in Europe. In the tension that spread all over the northern hemisphere from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, from the Pacific Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea.
Sounds like World War III is upon us. Okay? So there are two simultaneous wars going on. These nations are fighting each other, okay? And they're having to deal with the angels who are making their appearance now, all right?
Russia made its most daring move near the U.S. island of Hawaii. In Moscow's biggest war game since the Cold War, as many as 20 ships, submarines, support vehicles, and another 20 jets were pushed within just 35 miles.
We went over war games in yesterday's video, so go back and watch
Of
that.
55 kilometers of Hawaii. Russia's Ministry of Defense announced that the exercise in the middle of the Pacific Ocean took place about 300 miles from the Hawaiian coast, but satellite images taken on June 19 clearly denied Moscow. Upon the approach of the Russian Navy to Hawaii, US F-22 jets took off. It is reported that F-22 warplanes took off for the second time in the last month due to Russian activity. The U.S. Army, which gave a red alert with the dangerous step of Russian leader Vladimir Putin, also dispatched the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson and the USS Dewey warship to Hawaii. The images released by the Russian Ministry of Defense also included the moments when the two 142 warplanes took off. The two 142s, which spent more than 14 hours in the air and covered approximately 9,980 kilometers, were also refueled in the sky. The two 142s in question are from the Tupolev series, which appeared in the Mediterranean skies recently. Long-range Tupolev Tu-22M3s, which landed at the Russian to intercept the British Navy, were stationed at a distance of about 10 miles, 16 kilometers, from HMS.
Now this is in the Black Sea. We went from the Pacific, right, which is where Hawaii is located. Now we're in the Black Sea. Let's see.
Queen Elizabeth and the fleet.
Yeah, because they're dealing with Great Britain right now.
Captain James Blackmore, who commands 8 F-35 jets and 10 helicopters on the aircraft carrier, said that during the attack on Iraq, the pilots of the Russian warplanes came close enough to see each other. The attack group led by the aircraft carrier also includes the U.S. destroyer the Sullivans. Russian media, on the other hand, claim that HMS Queen Elizabeth is approaching dangerously close to the naval base in Tartus, Syria. Russian media, who wrote that the British aircraft carrier will be met with 2 warships, a missile frigate and a submarine, noted that if there is a provocation, they will immediately respond. Reuters news agency, on Friday, June 18, served many photos from the Bosphorus to the world. The photographs showed the Admiral Essen frigate and other ships capable of carrying guided missiles entering the Bosphorus from the Black Sea and sailing towards the Mediterranean.
You hear this? It's war, y'all. We're not even going to watch the rest of it. We're going to go to secret files, get some short ones in here, some of the shorties. Okay, what do we have? Burnett to Hamas, our patience has run out. That's over there in Israel. All right. This is 18 hours ago. The countdown to an Israeli war with Iran has begun. All right. Here you have Hamas extorting money 5 hours ago. Drone sabotage attack against Iran's atomic energy facility. This is World War III. This actually looks like a modern day Pearl Harbor. Okay? With drones and stuff. All right? You could go and watch. Let's watch this real quick. Countdown to an Israeli war with Iran has begun. All right?
Military grade.
Salakia. Wow, look at
The countdown to an Israeli war with Iran has begun. A small army of top Israeli national security officials descended on Washington last week for their first in-person consultations with the Biden administration over its intention to return to the Iran nuclear deal. Israel is adamantly opposed to the agreement, arguing that in exchange for a pause in Tehran's
that must be the new Bibi Netanyahu right here. Look at this guy.
nuclear program, it virtually guarantees that Iran can become a nuclear weapons threshold state by the time the deal expires in 2030, while immediately funneling billions of dollars to
And don't be fooled, okay? This war is about to go down now. Ain't no 10 years. No. Actually, it's going down now. They just haven't declared it yet. All right? But as soon as some serious firing on each other goes down, they're not going to have a choice. Don't be fooled. The war's going down now. And they know that the angels are getting involved. So their time is very short.
revolutionary regime single-mindedly focused not just on sowing aggression and terrorism across the Middle East but on the destruction of the Jewish state itself. That's not a risk that the Israelis are prepared to take lying down, as they've repeatedly made clear. If Washington's strategy leaves Israel convinced that it faces a choice between fighting a much weakened Iran now or a much stronger Iran on a glide path to nuclear weapons a few years from now, nope.
Okay, good enough. All right, so these people out here fighting each other in World War III, what is their bigger threat? Each other or the angels? And the one ignorantly known as Jesus. What if Jesus Christ is an angry black man coming back to avenge all the black people for what has been done to them? Well, guess what? Ain't no what if. That's what's going on. All right? And not just blacks. We're actually brown, just like the Hispanics and the Native Americans. We're all brown people. We're not black. All right? So the one that you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, he's brown too, with an afro. And he's coming back to avenge his people. And that's what all of these war chariots are about. Okay? Now I'm going to show you in the scriptures how this thing is going to happen. This is in Joel. They're being gathered together right now. Joel 2. KJV. It's 3 and 2. All right, here's what's going on. Joel 3 and 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what we see happening right now. It's in the Middle East. All right? And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. All right? Now let's look at that in a different sense so you can understand what's going on. Yes, God is coming back to avenge his people. Not God, but his son. Yahweh Shai is coming back to avenge his people. All right? I will gather all the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what we're looking at right now. There will I judge them for harming my people. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. What have you done to them? All right. Well, God is gathering all the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why? To judge them for what they did to his chosen people. Hanging, shooting them in the back while they're cuffed, niggers and spicks and slavery. Come on now. This is what the war is about. For harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, and for dividing up my land. Who's over there in the land of Israel right now? Not God's chosen people. You got the so-called Palestinians, which that word goes back to Philistines, and the Philistines are Africans. So those aren't the Palestinians over there. That's somebody who took upon that name on themselves, just like the other people over there fighting over the land. What did they do? They divided my land. All right, here's what's going on. Now let's go back, and I'm going to show you how the angels get involved in it. So I will gather all nations and bring them down. What was that? What were we looking at? So that you can understand it. New Living Translation. Let's go to that. Okay. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I judge them for harming my people, right? Now let's go down here. Say to the nations, that's all these other countries. Say to the nations far and wide, this is Joel 3 and 9. Far and wide, get ready for war. Call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. Hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Train even your weaklings to be warriors. Come quickly, all you nations everywhere. Gather together in the valley. And then it says this. And now, O Lord, call out your warriors. Who are God's warriors? Right? Let's see that in a different language here, or in a different version. It says, come quickly, all you nations from every side, and assemble there. Bring down your warriors, Lord. Who are God's warriors? All right, let's see if they're going to say it. Bring down your warriors, O Lord. Bring down your mighty ones, O Lord. Who is that? King James. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O. Who are the Most High's mighty ones? Okay. Let's go back. Where was it? Slovakia. We were just there. You go back and get it. This. Who are God's mighty ones?
Tonight, I'll be eating.
Okay. The angels are in those, what you call a UFO. See how they get involved in the fight? Wait a minute. Where we at? Right here. Okay. What is this?
Hey, dude.
Well, how scared they are. Look at that thing, dude.
Out to the west. Look at that thing, dude. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west. Look at that thing, dude.
You understand what's going on here? Okay. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about. That's God bringing them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat so he can judge them for what they did to his people. Then he says this, then cause your mighty ones to come down. Who are the mighty ones? The angels. It says, Bring down, Lord, your warriors. That's the angels. Bring down, O Lord, your mighty ones. All right? Your warriors. See how the angels get involved in this? And we're looking at it. So they know that their time is short, all right? Because you're seeing, it, today is June. They're supposed to, the Pentagon is supposed to bring out a plethora of lies about what these things actually are this month, because they know that their time is short. So there ain't no 10 years, right? Who is the bigger threat? These other armies or something that they can't even keep up with? Something that can disappear. Something that the scriptures say is going to whoop their ass completely. Didn't we just read that? Okay. We got to go back. Where is it? Right here. And they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. That's all the armies of the world that God brought down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now suddenly they're fighting with the angels and getting their ass whooped, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right. Now let's get something. All right, let's get this. War. Oh, there's that word. Of the world's tripod attack. Let's see this.
When I was 20.
What does this mean? They put it in the movies for you. Okay. This. What's happening to these people? Let's get to it. Looks like they're not going to show us. They're blowing them up. This is a bad one. Because it starts shooting. You see that laser? You see that laser come down? See that? Right here. Boom. Okay, now what happens after that? See, they didn't go far enough. Let's get one where they actually show it. Fairy attack. Right here. We're going to show it. Boom! Smoke. Lasers. Smoke. Disintegrated. Lasers just frying people. Nothing but smoke. They're showing you. Look at that. Evaporate. Look at that. All right. All right, good enough. All right, so where were we? We went off on a little tangent. Oh, I guess that's good enough. All right. So the war is ongoing. Okay. All right. Here's what's going on. Come quickly, all you nations from every side. Come quickly, all you nations everywhere, gather together in the valley. What valley? The valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. Why? Because this is what's going to happen. Really, it's an ambush. All right. That's why all of these armies are being gathered together. All right. What do we see? This is what's happening. God is bringing them together down in the Middle East, where he's going to do a surprise attack with the angels, and the angels are going to have a field day. All right? So with that, that's today's Third World War update. We got one more tomorrow, which is Friday, and then the weekend we're off. Okay, so with that, we hope that the elect of Israel were edified, and with that, we're going to say shalom.